Good morning. This is Rachel Donovan sitting in with Giovanni Gallucci and Chloe Dawn, and this is the Daily Trend Report.
Morning, Rachel.
Morning, both of you.
Sunday morning here. I came in early because the FJ needed about 40 minutes of attention before it would even start a conversation with me.
What was it doing?
Doing what it always does, sounding like an old diesel that wants someone to apologize first. New plugs, fresh oil, and now it's a friendly truck again.
That's a lot of patience for a Sunday.
It's a Sunday truck. That's the whole point.
I slept in, walked over to Foxtrot, got an iced latte, and watched a couple try to parallel park a U-Haul on Knox Street for about 20 minutes. Best Dallas content I've had all week.
Free entertainment.
Better than free. Both of them were laughing by the end. That part felt rare.
It is rare.
All right, 3 sections today. First, outdoor lifestyle brands. And Rachel, this is a good one because the LLMs cannot agree on what kind of summer this is. Second, clean label food and beverage. And Chloe's got receipts on what just landed at the federal level today. And third, content, social, and AI, where the platforms are doing some interesting things to each other.
Big day.
Let's go. So here's the puzzle. Every report I read this morning is telling a different story about summer 2026 in the parks, and they're all true at the same time.
How so?
The Park Service has lost about a quarter of its workforce since January. North Cascades just announced their main developed sites are not going to be fully operational this summer. Visitor centers shuttering. Ranger programs cut. Search and rescue thinner than it was 6 months ago.
That's the bad story.
Then on the other side, Yosemite, Arches, Glacier, and Mount Rainier all dropped their timed entry reservations for this season. Backroads is reporting trips up more than 10% year over year, and it's the 250th anniversary, so multi-generational family bookings are surging.
So the parks are easier to walk into and harder to actually use.
That's exactly it.
Open gate. Dark visitor center.
The gate's open. The lights inside are off.
What's a brand supposed to do with that?
Tell the truth about it. The wrong move is to keep posting Yellowstone glamour shots like nothing changed. The audience that just got a campground reservation canceled is going to feel that. The right move is to map your favorite parks to the working alternatives next door. BLM dispersed sites, state parks, national forests.
The Outdoor Industry Association has been begging brands to push that for years.
They have. The federal staffing crunch is just the forcing function.
There's a side of this that nobody seems to be talking about, which is what it does to the small towns near those parks. The diner outside the gate, the bait shop, the 2-room motel.
That's the part that keeps me up.
Same.
The Park Service doesn't just employ rangers. It employs the kid who scoops ice cream in Cook City and the family that runs the laundromat in West Yellowstone. Those are real paychecks, tied to a federal headcount line.
And that's where brand content can actually do something useful. Point people at the local outfitter. Name the diner. Show up for the small operator who's about to have a hard summer.
Receipts beat announcements there too. A list of 3 small businesses in 3 gateway towns is worth 1,000 posts about wilderness.
Did anybody else's report flag the public land sale that almost happened in May?
Claude's report did. Came within a hair in budget reconciliation. 1 to 3 million acres of federal land on the table. They pulled it at the last minute, and the senators who pushed it are still right there. Bennett, Heinrich, Merkley, and Wyden introduced the Public Lands Integrity Act to block fast-track sales in the future.
And the Bureau of Land Management quietly repealed the public lands rule in May. 130,000 public comments came in during the process, and 98% of them said, keep the rule.
They repealed it anyway.
They repealed it anyway.
So much for public comment. If your brand puts a mountain in its logo, this is the moment to actually defend the mountain. Not in a sustainability page nobody reads. In a public statement with a founder's face on it.
And fund a public lands group with a number that hits a P&L line. The $50 membership tag isn't support, it's costume.
That's the line right there.
Pivot to the gear side. Every report this morning agreed on one thing for product. The $50,000 overlanding build is losing ground. Hard. The new buyer is doing modular SUV sleep platforms, plug-and-play storage drawers, and they want to be out Friday after work and home Sunday night.
I'm watching this in the Tacoma and 4Runner audience. They're not buying the rooftop tent, they're buying the cargo platform and the portable power station.
The Overland Expo West coverage this month backed that up. Four-wheel campers debuted a modular slide-in called the Campout. Silenus brought a pop-top conversion for the Grenadier. Modular is the new luxury. And the buyer is reading spec sheets first, brand stories second.
That's a real shift. The product page used to start with the lifestyle photo. Now it has to start with weight, dimensions, draw amps.
If you sell adjacent gear to that buyer, publish a fitment PDF today. Buyers who design their builds in a spreadsheet are going to specify the vendors who treat them like builders.
Speaking of overbuilds, the Mammoth Overland XLE trailer that dropped at Expo West is its own conversation. Bulletproof windows, medical-grade HEPA filters, 1,200 amp hours of lithium. They're literally calling it the extinction-level escape.
That's prepper aesthetic crossing into overlanding in plain sight.
Is that a real market or is it a press cycle?
It's both. The product is real. The buyer is real. The wildfire smoke and grid failure crowd is small, but it's serious money. And Mammoth is putting a flag in it before anybody else.
And here's the quiet shift underneath the headlines. Independent brands and heritage outfits are eating shelf space and editorial coverage that used to belong to the publicly traded giants. AUX, a tiny Canadian outfit, is in every major roundup right now. The outdoor retailer floor is shifting towards smaller labels.
That's the story I want to amplify. Small brands win with specificity. Big brands lose with generality.
Okay, 3 quick takeaways before we move on. 1. This week, publish a Plan B post that maps one big park your audience cares about to its nearest BLM, state park, or national forest alternative, and name 3 small businesses in the gateway town while you're at it.
2. If you sell into the overland or vehicle camping space, get a public fitment PDF live on every product page. Weight, dimensions, MOLLE pattern, draw amps. The buyer is reading those before they read your brand story.
3. Pick a public lands organization, write a check that shows up on a P&L line, and put your CEO's name on a statement about the Public Lands Integrity Act this week. Customers are watching who shows up and who stays quiet.
So today is actually the day. May 24th is the deadline for the MAHA Commission's mandated assessment on food ingredients. That's not a future news cycle. That's a today news cycle.
Walk us through what that actually means at the shelf.
The FDA has already cleared the runway for no artificial colors front-of-pack callouts. The phase-out of FD&C petroleum dyes is in motion. Beetroot red and spirulina extract are approved natural replacements. Campbell's, Mars, General Mills, Kraft Heinz, Nestle, and Hershey are all in active reformulation against deadlines that run through next year.
So the entire packaged food aisle is rebuilding its color palette.
It's rebuilding the front of the package, which is more important than the back of the package now. About 30% of new food and beverage launches in 2026 are carrying a clean label claim. Younger shoppers are reporting they'll pay 20 to 30% more for it.
That's not a niche premium anymore.
It's the table. And here's where it gets interesting. If you're a clean label brand that never used those dyes in the first place, today is your day. The brands that get quoted in the trade press over the next 2 weeks are the ones who publish a statement today. The brands that wait until June get summarized in someone else's article.
Receipts beat announcements again.
Always.
Okay, this is the other half of this story that I want you on, Chloe. PepsiCo just launched a grass-fed beef stick. Read that sentence twice.
I read it 3 times.
Good warrior. 10 grams of protein, 100 calories, grass-fed, gluten-free. And Popcorner's protein launched this week with 9 grams per ounce, national rollout in July. Doritos protein dropped in February. Chomps has a chicken stick range now. Mighty Spark is going national.
The salty snack aisle is being rebuilt around protein in real time. And I want to say this clearly because it matters. A no artificial colors badge on an extruded corn and pea protein chip is not a clean label position. It's a hedge.
So Big Food is using clean label language to dress up products that are still ultra-processed.
That's the play.
Clean label theater.
Clean label theater. and the natural foods buyer is starting to notice the asterisk. The opening for independent brands isn't to chase PepsiCo on protein grams. You can't win that fight on shelf space or trade spend.
So what's the move?
Publish your actual processing steps. Not minimally processed. Not small batch. The specific list. Dehydrated, milled, hand-rolled, fermented for 9 days. The brands moving up in natural channel this quarter are the ones whose product pages read like a process essay, not a marketing pitch.
That's the same principle as the spec sheet on the truck camper. The buyer wants the data.
Same buyer, different aisle.
The David Protein lawsuit is the warning shot under all of this. A class action alleging the bars contain up to 83% more calories than the label states, 400% more fat in some cases. David disputes it, but the story is out there.
Get third-party macro testing locked in. Today. The cost of getting that wrong used to be a quiet recall. The cost now is a class action, a viral post, and a year of brand repair.
What about the beef tallow conversation? Every report flagged it.
This is the one that actually moved into purchase behavior. Coast Packing's 2026 survey says 43% of U.S. diners say a restaurant's cooking oil influences where they eat. 52% of 18 to 34-year-olds. Whole Foods named beef tallow a top 8 trend for 2026. The science on seed oils is still mixed. The Stat News fact check this week pointed that out, but consumer behavior is moving regardless.
If you cook in tallow, butter, avocado oil, or olive oil, the strategic move is to put it on the front of the package, not buried in the back panel.
Front of pack, front of post. Show the rendering, show the sourcing, show the cooking. The packaging arms race is over. The trust race is just starting.
And on the soda side, the prebiotic category just consolidated under Big Beverage. PepsiCo bought Poppi for almost $2 billion. Coke launched Simply Pop. Olipop is valued at $1.85 billion.
The independent challenger story for prebiotic soda is over. If you're a beverage founder, you don't fight that category anymore. You look at what's next. Fiber-forward sparkling waters, mushroom blends, cognitive function. That's where the white space is.
Whole Foods named fiber the #1 trend of 2026. Fiber frenzy. They literally called it that.
Fiber is the next protein. It's the macronutrient consumers will be asked about next year. Brands that get there first will own the conversation.
3 things you can actually do today.
1. If you make a clean label product and you've never used FD&C dyes, publish a statement today. Tag it to the MAHA deadline. The press window is open through about June 7th.
2. Move your cooking fat language from the back panel to the front of every social post. Show the rendering, the source, the cooking. That's the post that converts right now.
3. Rewrite one product page this week as a process essay. Dehydrated, milled, soaked for 48 hours. The specific steps. Let it read like a working kitchen, not a pitch deck.
So this one's mine, but I want both of you weighing in because the 2 biggest stories this week affect every brand we work with, and they're pulling in opposite directions.
What are the 2?
Instagram rolled out what creators are calling the originality score. Reels with TikTok watermarks are getting suppressed. Recycled formats writing the same audio for 6 weeks straight are getting throttled. The platform wants content that was made for Instagram by the person posting it.
That's been telegraphed for a year.
Mosseri's been telegraphing it since 2024.
Now it's in the code.
Share rate is the primary distribution trigger on Reels. Strong hook in the first second and a half beats polished agency edits every time.
So the brands that have been cross-posting their TikToks with the watermark still on them are bleeding reach right now.
Right now. The fix isn't a campaign, it's a structural change to how content gets made. Cut from 5 platforms to 3. Put a founder or an operator on camera weekly. Stop polishing the voice until it sounds like every other brand on the feed.
That last part is the one most brands won't do.
Won't or can't. The polished brand voice is a saturation signal now. The algorithm reads it and pulls back. Imperfect, on-brand human content gets the reach.
Here's a fair test. Cover the logo on your last 3 reels. Could a stranger still tell which brand made them?
If not, the brand voice is the problem, not the algorithm.
Okay, second big story. LinkedIn document carousels are pulling 6.6% engagement. That's the post-Unreal 2026 benchmark. Octopost has median B2B engagement at 5.72%. Carousels beat the median by more than a full point, and they hold there week after week.
Why so high?
Dwell time.
That's it.
A carousel asks the reader to swipe 10 times. Every swipe is a few more seconds the algorithm reads as quality engagement. A static post that gets a half-second glance and a scroll signals the opposite.
And most B2B brands are still posting links and quote cards.
Most B2B brands are still treating LinkedIn like a press release distribution channel. The carousel format is sitting unbuilt while it quietly outperforms everything else on the platform. The work is repurposing, not creating. Every published blog can become a carousel. Every case study can become a carousel. Every internal deck can become a carousel.
The trap is making carousels that are all design and no payoff. 10 slides of cliches with art direction. The algorithm catches that fast.
It does. Open with a hook slide that gives away the conclusion. One idea per slide, about 30 words per slide. End with something that adds value, not a call to like and comment.
So the two stories are pulling in opposite directions. Instagram is rewarding rough and human. LinkedIn is rewarding designed and edited.
That's the read. Different platforms, different muscles. The teams that win this cycle are the ones that build for both.
The other thing I'm watching is TikTok. The completion rate threshold moved from 50% to 70% for viral lift. That's a big jump.
And hashtags came back. Hashtag-driven traffic is up 114% year over year. Posts with hashtags are getting roughly 5% more views. The advice for 3 years has been to ignore hashtags. That advice is now wrong.
3 to 5 targeted hashtags per post. One broad category tag, the rest niche.
Cross-reference TikTok's Creative Center for what's actually trending in your category. Don't stuff. Don't chase tags that have nothing to do with what you do. The algorithm will read that as classification noise and bury you.
And micro creators are still beating mega creators on engagement.
By a lot.
10,000 to 100,000 followers. 3 to 5 times the engagement at a fraction of the spend.
The same budget that buys one 7-figure mega deal would buy 15 to 20 micro partnerships with higher composite reach. Restructure influencer budgets around cohorts of category-relevant micro creators with a unified brief.
If you've got the brief right.
If the brief is right. A scattershot 20 creator buy with no through line reads as bot activity to viewers and gets buried.
One last thing on the platform side. Meta laid off 8,000 people and reassigned 7,000 to AI initiatives. The engineers who built the current ranking system are gone or working on something else.
Which means brand teams should expect distribution surprises across IG, Threads, and Facebook over the next 2 quarters. Don't lock in a 90-day content commitment that depends on stable distribution. Diversify the owned audience capture. Newsletter, SMS, app, anything you actually control.
3 moves before we move on.
1. This week, cover the logo on your last 3 reels. If a stranger can't tell which brand made them, you don't have a content problem, you have a voice problem. Rebuild from there.
2. Take one published blog and convert it into a 10-slide LinkedIn carousel by Wednesday. Hook slide first, one idea per slide, payoff at the end. Repeat that every week for 90 days.
3. Audit your influencer budget against a micro-creator cohort model. 20 category-relevant creators on a unified brief beats 1 celebrity drop, almost every time. Start with the brief.
That's the report for today. Quick word on what we do at gallucci.net. We build AI-assisted content and social pipelines for outdoor lifestyle brands and clean label food and beverage brands. Real operator work, founder voice on camera, process essays on the product page, carousel templates that ship every week, the same kind of pipeline that produced this episode. If you're an operator who needs the muscle without hiring a 15-person agency, we are who you call.
It's a small team that moves like a big one.
If you want to talk, head to gallucci.net or send a DM to gallucci.net on Instagram or LinkedIn. Same handle, both places.
Talk tomorrow.
Talk tomorrow.
Talk tomorrow.